new developments and accusations in the investigation of a former police captain who says he was fired for blowing the whistle. New developments now into the investigation into an alleged plot to frame a top city official. Yesterday, we told you about former Captain Dave Navarro's claims that interim chief Ruben Santiago planned to plant a gun and drugs on a top city official.
Well, tonight, Santiago is out with new allegations against his former captain. Our Jody Barr joins us now with the latest on this investigation. Jody.
Well, the latest is right now that Mayor Steve Benjamin says he personally got involved in this case just today. He says he wants SLED to come in and sort out what's going on inside the Columbia Police Department. Yesterday, the city manager fired Captain Dave Navarro, accusing him of gossip, insubordination, shredding records, and secretly recording a conversation. Today, Ruben Santiago asked SLED to investigate what Santiago calls Navarro's suspicious actions related to, quote, possible missing or misappropriation of funds from the Columbia Police Foundation. Navarro told us he reported the conspiracy allegations involving Santiago to SLED agent Kevin Baker last week, the day before Santiago stripped him of his gun and badge. The mayor says he wants it all investigated.
I've requested the investigation be turned over to SLED, and I've dialogued directly with Chief Keel, and I've asked them for a speedy response and a thorough investigation, and he has promised me that, and I trust him, and I trust the ability of SLED to get to the bottom of it.
Navarro also says he reached out to Steve Benjamin several times through telephone calls to report this initial claim, but that Steve Benjamin never returned those phone calls. Dave Navarro told me the allegations that he had anything to do with any missing money is, quote, a lie. Navarro says the city's fabricated their allegations in an attempt to discredit him about his story of that conspiracy claim.
Whereas the city is claiming strongly that all of Navarro's claims, the fired employee from Columbia City Police Department, are completely fabricated.
Yeah, that's the city's claims, and you know those are Navarro's, but it's a.
Well, what do we know, Jody, about the way that this fund is handled with this money and these checks?
Well, with the Columbia Police Foundation, I talked with former Captain Dave Navarro today, and he says that he had nothing to do. He had no signatory power over any account related to this Columbia Police Foundation that was reserved solely, he says, for the chief of police. It was Randy Scott until Scott left. Now it's interim chief Ruben Santiago. That's Navarro's story. He says the checks that would come into his office, to this police foundation, they would go upstairs, meaning to the chief's office, to be put into this bank account. Navarro told me that if the city found any check that ever made it into his bank account, that too would be a lie. And he said he looks forward to vindicating himself when it comes to these claims dealing with this fund.
And then I see here you have asked for things like the phone records and any records connected to the Columbia Police Department. Right.
We filed FOIA requests today for that recording that the city police department, city manager's office says that Navarro recorded. We also want to see the records of how they obtained that recording and who produced it to hopefully sort out what happened here.
All right, lots of questions still to be answered. We know you'll stay on this case, Jody. Keep us up to date. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it.
That's where he's asked SLED to investigate Dave Navarro. Santiago wants SLED to look into what the interim chief calls Navarro's, quote, suspicious actions and allegations. Santiago accuses his former captain of shredding documents and possible missing or misappropriated money from the Columbia Police Foundation. Navarro says he placed several calls to Mayor Steve Benjamin last week, but those calls were never returned. Benjamin, when asked today whether he has confidence in Ruben Santiago, didn't give a clear answer at first.
So they're getting the job done. We need to make sure that at the top of the organization there's some stability and continuity. That's been a challenge as of late, and we need to get past this, get through this, and then be able to focus on the leadership challenges at CPD.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't hear a yes in there when I asked you the question about Chief Santiago. You have confidence in him?
Oh yes, Chief Santiago's been doing a great job, and I've gotten no less than 30 emails from different neighborhood leaders and business leaders telling me how fantastic a job that he's been doing. But whenever serious allegations like these are made, it's our job as public officials to make sure that we get to the bottom of it. And that's what we're going to do.
Chief Ruben Santiago's accused Dave Navarro of shredding records and for missing or misappropriated money meant for the Columbia Police Foundation. Navarro tells me that's impossible. He says he had no power to write checks from that fund. Navarro says he welcomes SLED's investigation into that.
And Jody, as a part of this whole drama really that's playing out at CPD, they claim the reason, one of the key reasons they fired him was because he recorded a conversation between himself, Navarro, and Interim Chief Santiago. Navarro told you point blank he's never recorded any conversation, so you have asked the city to back up and substantiate that claim and to give you a copy of that recording and to verify where it came from. Yeah,
we've filed a multiple Freedom of Information Act requests today. We've asked for that recording. We've also asked for the city's evidence of where they got it, who produced it, and we hope to have an answer soon. We've also asked for cell phone records that belong to Dave Navarro's city cell phone so we can further hopefully corroborate his story and hopefully put the pieces together.
Well, a lot of allegations flying back and forth, and I know you're working to get to the bottom of it to finally just get to the truth. So, all right, Jody, thank you very much.
And much more tonight on